An international certificate of competence is a certificate, which may be issued to anyone who has successfully completed certain national boating licenses or has passed an examination to prove the necessary competence for pleasure craft operation, although only guaranteed to be accepted in countries that have adopted the relevant UN resolution. The ICC is a useful document to carry and will generally be accepted where proof of competence is required. In very general terms, an ICC is required for the inland waterways of Europe and for inland and coastal waters of Mediterranean countries. For the coastal waters of Northern Europe, the ICC is generally not required. However, to all of these generalizations there are exceptions. Description of the ICC. The ICC is a product of the United Nations Economic Commission for Europe Inland Water Committee Resolution 40. This states that the ICC may be issued by a government of one state to its nationals and residents who may be on the waters of a foreign state, on condition that both accept the requirements and conditions set out in Resolution 40. Governments may appoint competent authorities to issue ICC on the behalf. Globally, international yacht training worldwide has been delegated such authority by both Ireland and the UK, and the Royal Yachting Association and the British Sub-Aqua Club are both authorised by the UK. The ICC provides documentary assurance from one government to another that the holder meets the levels of competence laid down in Resolution 40. However, the acceptance of Resolution 40 is often caveated. History of the ICC. The origins of the ICC arose from navigation on the Rhine and the Danube and the need for reassurance that vessel operators were competent to ensure safety of navigation and protection of the environment as they move from one country to another. As a result, on the 29th of January 1979, the United Nations Working Party on Inland Water Transport adopted Resolution 14, which recommended the introduction of a European document for an international certificate to provide those assurances. The resolution was also intended to facilitate waterborne tourism. Until then, operators could well have been expected to produce competency certificates for each country whose waters they were on. In the mid-90s, the Working Group on Inland Water Transport considered that Resolution 14 needed updating and strengthening, and on the 16th of October 1998 the Working Party adopted the revisions as Resolution 40. This replaced Resolution 14. The International Certificate for Operators of Pleasure Craft created in Resolution 40 is now more commonly referred to as the International Certificate of Competence, or simply ICC. The ICC is only applicable where the visited state has also adopted or recognizes the ICC as a valid standard of competency. Application of the ICC. Resolution 40 not only included operators of pleasure craft bound for or on the inland and coastal waters of foreign states but specifically included bareboat charter vessels. Significantly, it also set out the nautical, regulatory and technical competency requirements to be achieved and a minimum age for the issue of an ICC irrespective of individual national schemes. It is the professional opinion of the UNECEIWC that the standards set out in Resolution 40 provide a reasonable and appropriate level of competence for day sailing with due regard to the safety of navigation and crew and the protection of the environment. It is strongly recommended that governments recognize this rather than be drawn into discussions on where the ICC may or may not fit into their own national schemes, much the same as acceptance of the international driving license. As of 2013, only 22 countries have adopted either resolution so far, of which 16 are EU member states. In reality, many countries choose to accept the ICC ICC even though they have not adopted the resolution, but of course this is on the terms and can be subject to local variations. Spain, Greece and Portugal, for example, have not adopted Resolution 40 but are still most likely to ask visitors for an ICC. In reality, the ICC is more widely accepted as proof of the holder's competence than adoption of Resolution 40 would suggest. The following UNECE member states have adopted Resolution 40 and thus officially accept the ICC as a proof of competence in the territories: Austria, Belarus, Belgium, Bulgaria, Croatia, Czech Republic, Finland, Germany, Hungary, Ireland, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Norway, Romania, Slovakia, South Africa, Switzerland and the United Kingdom. The following UNECE member states have adopted the earlier Resolution 14. Also these countries accept the ICC: France, Italy and Poland. The following UNECE member states have not accepted the Resolution 40 nor the Resolution 14. Greece, Moldova, Portugal, Spain, Russian Federation, Serbia, Sweden, Ukraine and United States. Individual states: Finland has adopted the resolution but does not require the ICC for normal yachts and does not use CEVNI for its inland waters. Some official and some quality-assured non-official certificates are regarded as fulfilling knowledge requirements of ICC for coastal waters. Courses for the CEVNI part are arranged separately by many organizations. The certificate itself is issued by the authorities, usually based on such documents. The ICC is required for masters of boats chartered manned for international voyages and for masters of recreational vessels with length more than 24 meters. Ireland. IYT Worldwide is authorized by the Irish Department of Transport to issue ICCs to any nationality provided they meet the knowledge and competency standards required. The Irish Sailing Association is authorized by the Irish Department of Transport. Uniquely, IYT Worldwide has been approved by the Irish government to issue ICCs to any qualified applicants of any nationality on the behalf. The ICC enables owners' vessels to use them in those European waters where an ICC is required, and proves to local authorities that the skipper has the required Irish qualifications for skippering the vessel. United Kingdom. International Yacht Training Worldwide, the Royal Yachting Association, and the British Sub-Aqua Club with the authority of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency approved to issue ICCs to those who meet the mandated requirements and the competency requirements. ICCs are able to be issued by these associations to citizens of nations who are not signatories. In this manner, for example, USA citizens can gain the ICC. UK ICCs are for use on British-registered vessels in the waters of foreign states that participate in Resolution 40, without the need to comply with those states' national certification requirements. An ICC does not enable a British ICC holder to skipper a non-British registered vessel. If a British skipper wants to skipper a non-British registered vessel, then she must be qualified per the regulations of the country in which the vessel is registered. The UK ICC was only available to British citizens of bona fide British residence. This has now been extended to cover other nationals.